Hi, I'm Peter. I'm a scraper technician at BHP Nelson Point here in Port Hedland. I've not met Kitty, but known Kitty for probably 5.5, 6 years now. And I met her through my parents. Obviously, me being me and not listening to my parents, I put myself in debt by buying a brand new motor vehicle. Over the time, it got to the point where I was jobless for 6 months, couldn't make car payments, and by the time I got around to securing work and being able to start making payments again, I got the phone call saying your car is behind in payments. You have two options. You can either hand it back or we can repo it, and that'll put a black mark on your name. I was like, take it. I do not want a black mark on my name. And so obviously talking to mum and dad and what happened with them, they passed my information on to Kitty, and then Kitty gave me a call. Talking to Kitty, she's very, she's focused, but she's also like the way she comes across to people. She's laid back, but focused at the same time, and she's friendly. Always willing to know how things are going. Like she's not afraid to have a quick catch up chat just to break that little tension that people might feel first talking to someone over the phone. So I was 19 last year of my apprenticeship, went to Perth and thought, you know what, I'll buy a car, not really considering the consequences. So anyway, yeah, I got a car through finance, through one of the local dealers in Fremantle. And at first it was fine, it was great. But then obviously the difficulties started rolling in when you don't have a job or an income. The feeling was stressful because obviously I would be getting phone calls and letters from the finance company asking me saying, well, yeah, saying you're behind in payments. When can you make payments? And then I even got to the point where I got it refinanced through them for a cheaper payment. But even with all that, I still managed to not catch up on back payments. It was definitely overwhelming knowing that I had to try and catch up on car payments. At the same time, there was also the moment, well, in your head, you can hear your parents' voice in the back of your head saying, I told you so, you shouldn't have done it. So I constantly had that both in my head and on the telephone when I spoke to my parents. So it was definitely a rough period. But at that time, I was single, so I didn't really have to worry about burdening anyone with that at the time. Well, that much debt. Well, to be honest, being 19 and not really thinking about it, I didn't really think much of it at 19 when I bought the car. But then, obviously, when I was unemployed for 6 months, I was about 20. So it only been a year after I finished my apprenticeship when I was unemployed because up here it was the downturn of the boom. So everybody was looking for jobs because they'd been let go from these high paying jobs and they just had that extra qualification over you because I'd just come out of my apprenticeship, fully qualified, but no actual experience. It was stressful. Like I was constantly looking, trying to try and find ways to at least try and make payments somehow. I was trying to find a job anywhere I could. It wasn't with what I did my trade in. It was just anywhere that employ me. But even then, I did manage to get a job, but it just wasn't even enough to start making payments on that. It was just enough to keep my phone bill from being taken off me by Telstra and putting food and fuel just to get around so I can do these things. But it wasn't anywhere near enough to make up car payments. Obviously, take a shot and see what the outcome would be. And then I had a good chat with her, and I felt good about it because at least I was heading in a direction to get it sorted, at least because it was too much. So after having a chat with her and then waiting to come back from her side of the conversations with the finance, that was the hard part, was waiting to see what the finance would come back and say. But no, talking to Kitty was probably one of the best things I've done. So after she'd already sorted out the plan with myself and the finance company, and obviously with themselves, it was good to know that she was always checking in. It was, if it wasn't her, it was one of her. I believe that she calls them angels. They would call me up and just see how things were and whatnot, and then they'd ring me up one day and say, "Oh, are you still making payments to the finance company?" And I said, "Yes." I haven't been told otherwise. So anyway, they gave me a plan, so I followed it, and would have been, I want to say 6 months later of this new plan that I was given, and they ring me up middle of the day, and this is just, you can tell it was a conference call because you could hear everybody in their room, and they always do that when they have good news for people. And they ring me up and told me that what had happened on the finance company side, as well as like their consistency of contacting them and finding out why and when and everything that was going on. And yeah, at the end of the day, like they ring me up and say that your debt's been cleared. And I obviously I was shocked. I wasn't expecting a phone call to say my debt's been cleared. So that definitely was a turnaround point for me. And I sort of stood there for a minute, just mouth open on the phone like an idiot. Didn't know what to say or what to do. With what went down and whatnot, 22,500 debt managed to just disappear. Obviously, when I had the phone call, I was only um, oh, 12 months, 18 months into a new relationship. So that was then obviously my partner, who I've been with since then, been through it as well, or been through the journey with me, but it's been more of a relief, and also like I said, a turning point even for us, just to know that there is no longer that debt cloud hanging over my head. So getting that phone call for saying that, $22,500 has disappeared, it was, well, yeah, it was a game changer. I wouldn't have been able to, well, as ironic as this is, put myself in more debt by being approved for a loan for a vehicle that's more suitable for where we live and for what we do up here. Because not having a car for 18 months was also stressful. Not obviously once I handed it back. So being able to buy a car and also put money aside for savings for holidays and emergency situations, it was definitely um, it's a good feeling. I'll put it that way. Between Kitty and my partner, of course, because my partner's had a lot of poking the needle and push me in the back, telling me to do things, which is fair enough. But every bloke needs a girl like that. And yeah, just being able to, like I said, savings. I've never really been one to do savings until after what happened through Debt Angels. Being able to, obviously, unfortunately, get another loan, but get it approved for a more suitable vehicle, and also be able to, just recently bought a motorbike. So I've been able to put money aside and buy things without having to worry about the whole applying for a small loan, or Kitty and her debt angels, lifesavers. They were a total game changer for my life. The things I've been able to accomplish in the last 2 years does make me speechless, because I think back and go, what would my life be like? And I don't like thinking about it because it's not pretty. So it's definitely, yeah, like I said, it's a game changer. That Angel Solutions, they're friendly. They're not afraid to have a quick chat before getting to the point with why they're ringing you, or if you're ringing them, they're still happy to have that quick chat just to break the tension between whatever the topic is, and they're always there if you need them. You know, if you once you've had one issue sorted, don't be afraid to go back. They'll help.